Hi everyone, it's me, Lubna. Today is Friday, January 3rd, 2025. This video is dedicated to my beloved, and the topic of this video is going to be about extending grace. So in order to illustrate this topic to you today, I'd like to go back to a book that I finished reading a few weeks ago. And that book was Letting Go, The Pathway of Surrender by David Hawkins, MD, PhD. And the passage that I wanted to share with you today from this book comes from the chapter titled Relationships. So as usual, before I read it aloud to you, I'll show the passage to you. And I've enclosed it in brackets. And I will read that aloud to you now. Here it goes. Interestingly enough, there is a scientific basis for Jesus Christ's admonition to bless and love our enemies. On the level of energy, the lower feelings have a lower vibration frequency and lower power. When we are in lower energy states, such as anger, hate, violence, guilt, jealousy, or any other negative feelings, we are psychically vulnerable to the other person. In contrast, forgiveness, gratitude, and loving kindness have a much higher energy vibration and much greater power. When we shift out of a lower to a higher energy pattern, we create a protective shield on the energetic level, as it were, and we can no longer be psychically vulnerable to that other person. When we are in a state of anger, for instance, we are vulnerable to the energy depletion brought about by the other person's counter-anger. Paradoxically, if we really want to affect other people, then we ought to really love them. Then their anger at us will boomerang back upon them with no effect upon us. This was the wisdom of the Buddha's statement in the Dhammapada. Hate is not conquered by hate. Hate is conquered by love. This is an eternal law. So that is the passage I wanted to share with you today from Letting Go. And I know it's pretty intuitive. Hate is not conquered by hate. Hate is conquered by love. And that's a statement that I'm sure a lot of us have heard before. And it is much easier said than done. In our lives, we tend to perceive that other people or entities have wronged us, and we have a natural instinct to want to get back at them, to want to take revenge upon them for what they did to us. But the best course of action is actually forgiving them for what they did and extending grace to them, because it takes up a lot of energy to try to get back at people or institutions. And all of that energy could be better used on working on oneself and making oneself a better person. It's not worth the time and effort to try to get back at other people. In fact, sometimes when you try to hurt other people in return for how they have hurt you, you end up hurting yourself instead, or you end up making the situation worse for both parties involved, yourself and the other person. So I'm going to keep this video short and sweet because this is something that I've touched upon in several of my previous videos as well, about forgiving other people and extending grace to other people. But I hope that by sharing this particular passage from Letting Go, I'm able to influence you and inspire you to forgive the people that you perceive as having wronged you in some way, and also to forgive yourself, because sometimes we hurt ourselves with our thoughts and words that we direct toward ourselves. So we need to extend grace not only to other people, but also to ourselves. I hope that you have learned something very valuable from my video today, and that you'll Apply it to your life today and every single day after this. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen and or watch my video today. And with that, I'd like to wish you a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, or whatever it is, wherever you are in the world.